Hello, and welcome to Birdeye Live, the show dedicated to the digital transformation of local businesses everywhere. I am your host, Justin Meredith, and join me as we learn from industry experts about the how and the why for taking your business online and claiming the most valuable real estate on the internet, that first page of Google. And also, we are here right now live. So if you have any questions about online reputation, your business's online presence, or Google reviews, or anything like that, be sure to send in a question in the comment section and we'll answer it here live. Now, I am honored today to be joined by Birdeye's very own Amber Benteen. Welcome to the show, Amber. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Justin. How are you on this fine Friday?
I'm happy it's Friday. I think this might be our first Friday live stream. So
Oh,
that's it.
cool.
We're breaking records now.
That's awesome.
So so can you tell us a little bit about so we're here streaming live. We're going to be talking a little bit about our next upcoming webinar. But
Yeah.
first, I want to talk about you. And so can you tell us a little bit about your experience leading up to Birdeye and what you're up to now?
Sure. Yeah, I'm super excited. First of all, thank you for having me here to talk today on Birdeye Live. It's very exciting to be a part of such a great company and what you guys share and what we share together. But yeah, my experience before I came to Birdeye was, half my career in the financial industry. So I was really super excited to see what we're having coming up on this webinar. But about 12 years of the financial industry, wore many hats in that industry. Pretty experienced in multiple different roles, all the way from, I even was a branch manager, at the end of it. So I had some experience in commercial lending, merchant services, investments. I was even a stockbroker there for a little while, and with 4 large banks. So I got to really get some experience in that industry. I even kind of hopped over into the credit union, which is a little bit smaller than your big box banks. So I got to understand the members and that strategy as well, how they're set up. And then from that, I wanted to kind of go into my own business adventures. So I opened up 2 small businesses of my own. And that's where the power of presence was really kind of, driven home for me. I really understood the marketing piece of that and understood that my revenue as a business owner really relied upon that. So that's kind of where, I naturally pivoted into that in my career and really found some great roles in the tech industry and with some reputable companies, and done everything from even phone book ads to digital marketing all the way up into, SaaS and local SEO. So I found my way to Birdeye, and I'm so happy I did. And I'm here now. And the reason that I am, just to share with you, Justin, is I really like the way that the company's built around trust. And everybody wants to work with somebody that they trust. And so the authenticity of Birdeye was really an attractive way for me to increase my knowledge, because that's what I'm all about. I like education and being able to use my experience to make sure that small business owners and business owners of all sizes have a way to sustainably be able to scale their businesses in a very smart and effective way. And I felt like Birdeye's performance, their platform outperformed, their retention level was high, and it truly worked. So I really just hopped on board and was thrilled to join the nest.
That's awesome. And I like what you said about trust. And the fact that, we're the company that we're at, Birdeye, is built on trust. And I think that also goes into the same, central theme of online reputation when it comes to your reviews, your ratings. It's all about developing trust with Google so that they can trust you to put you at the top of their search results, and then developing trust with a potential customer and your current customers so that they feel loyal to your business and
Right.
staying with your business. And, and I think a lot of that stuff is centered on trust.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of different ways you can go about trying to build an online reputation. And there's a right way and a wrong way. A right way is kind of what we do here at Birdeye, where we try to organically help you build up your online reputation by strengthening the number of reviews you have, improving your star rating, and with all the other, just variety of all the other things that we
Yeah.
do. And then there's the wrong way, where it's like you're trying to buy reviews, you're review gating. It's,
Mm-hmm.
trying to cut corners.
Yeah.
And, when you try to cut corners when it comes to your online reputation, or, just in general, your digital marketing entire strategy, if you're trying to cut corners, that's the wrong way to do it, and that diminishes the trust that Google has with your business, which hurts your rankings, which hurts your online presence as a whole. And so, what we're going to be talking about today is Google Business Message. Well, we're going to be talking about the financial services industry, which is why you're here, because you do have that amazing experience within the industry from multiple different perspectives.
Yeah.
And we're going to be previewing that because we're going to be talking about this next week on how, businesses of any industry, of any shape and size, can use Google Business Messages to improve their online experience for their current customers and their future customers. But we're also going to have kind of a focus on that financial services industry because we have felt that there is a need for that. And so, with next week's webinar, we're actually going to be partnering with Google, and we're going to have someone from Google, Trista Wade, who is the Global Partnerships Team Lead for the Financial Services and Business Communication Division at Google. And she's going to be giving it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited.
I'm so excited. When you told me who was coming, I was like, really? So I'm super pumped. I've told everybody I can think of, that were prospects that were looking for some information. I'm super pumped.
Oh yeah, and she's super, super smart. We actually had our dry run with her yesterday where we kind of did our practice for the next week's webinar. And it was the first time we've really kind of gone through the full kind of topic that we're wanting to what we're going to be talking about. And it just got me pumped because it's, she's incredibly bright. It's going to be a good time. And so she's going to give us that full breakdown of how businesses, especially the financial services and insurance industries, can use Google Business Messages to generate more leads, but not just generate more, but generate them faster, and how you can get in contact with these leads before the competition. And so if you are interested in that, be sure to click the link in the caption. It should be in the caption of the post or in the comment section. I think it might be in both. But click the link in that and register and save your spot. We're going to be doing that live, so she'll actually be there answering questions as well. So if you do have questions, whether it's about Google or Google Business Messages, you definitely want to register for that.
Yes.
So Amber, today I'd like to talk to you about the financial services industry a little bit more and get an understanding of where you think things are headed. So my first question is, from your experience, from all the different, positions that you've had, the different types of, perspectives that you've had on the financial services industry, from your experience, what are some of the challenges that agents and maybe agencies or firms are facing when it comes to lead generation?
Well, it's in my, and things change all the time, and that will be part of what we talk about today, but especially the financial industry. I feel like one of their major challenges, and this is just from my experience and still talking and dealing with, several credit unions and banks that I still help here at Birdeye, is the security piece. And with that being said, that is something for financial institutions to, yes, be making sure that their client information is protected. But there are partners in the tech world that they need to reach out to. We are, again, of course, one of them that they can totally reach out to. But in my experience, these financial institutions are really worried because they care about their client information. But it has evolved so much over the years, and that online presence is a must in the financial industry. Being able to be found is so important. So they don't need to be afraid. There's so much tech partners out there that they can partner with that have security policies in place. They just need to be able to educate themselves and open up that door. And online visibility, Justin, is so important for any business, but the financial institutions, they've had a lot of SEC rules with, the investments side of things, where they weren't allowed to really showcase themselves or even kind of market their own ability to be able to do investments or be an agency. So a lot of these rules are changed. They've opened up a lot of these rules and understand that the reviews and this reputation management is where we need to be. And in 2027, I would say, I think the stat was like 80 to 90% of businesses are going to be online. So we have to make sure that these financial institutions, I feel, are educated on that piece. And the quality of the leads, Justin, is something that I felt I struggled with. As when I was a loan officer, I was all the time on the phone, calling and trying to get, people to come into the branches or give them some opportunity to try to save them money by, taking all of their credit cards or their car loans and doing an equity line. I just felt the quality of my leads, it was all the time just me cold calling. So I feel that the ability for us to always rely on, when I was in the financial industry, the tellers or the actual people in the branches wasn't enough. So you've got to be able to, in the financial industry, be able to not lose out on the competition, especially credit unions that are dealing with big banks that are on every corner, it's very important that not just the companies that have the ability to do the software, but also every financial industry understand that there is something out there. And that is something that I'm really passionate about, is making sure that these institutions or agencies understand that there is stuff out there and it's moving to this way. And if the software is not a part of their marketing strategy, or they've got a great, strong technical partner, then that is where they need to move into the next year. Because if they're not prepared and they don't have the software, then they can't keep up with the environment. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah, and having that online visibility is crucial, and and I think it just got put with hyper boosters once the COVID lockdowns happened, and
Right.
now and even though things are relatively back to normal, I think the consumer behavior has shifted to the point where people are looking online first before they get in their car and they go somewhere, or they're
Mhm.
looking, they're doing their research before they visit a business.
Right.
So having that online visibility is absolutely crucial now, because that first move that any consumer makes for the most part is online first. Like I don't normally, I mean, I mean, I still even use my Google Maps when I go to places
Me too.
that I know of and like where I know I'm going,
Mhm.
because you never know if there's a different route or whatever. But everything, even when I'm just going to a friend's house, I still go online first to make sure I'm having the best possible route. And then with businesses, I'm making sure I'm going to the best possible business for my needs. And one of the things that you mentioned earlier is like with all the cold calling and all that stuff, and having those quality leads, is like there's going to be a lot of people who might not be a hot lead or an interested lead, but they're just looking to have their question answered.
Mhm.
And so that might not be necessarily the level of lead that, you can convert into a customer. They may be just looking for a question to get answered. But at least, with Google Business Messages, they can ask you that question directly. And that at least gets you in the room talking to them. And that's how you can start those conversations. And you can do it straight from Google search, so that they don't even have to take all the other extra steps of searching for what they're looking for, looking through the businesses that they see on their search results, then finding one that looks good. They click on their website. Then they're like, okay, well, I have a question about this. Maybe if I can find their content, it's a whole process. So being
Yeah.
able to cut all that out and just, you see a local map pack that you search for, loan officers in Austin, Texas, and there's a map that pops up, and being able to just like, oh, there's one near me about a mile and a half away. I'm going to click, this and say, hey, what services do you guys provide? And it
Mhm.
takes like 5 seconds compared to having to go through a much deeper level of research just to contact somebody. So
Definitely. It's like opening an easy door, right? Or easy
exactly,
button.
exactly. And, and I think it's one of those things where people nowadays, especially when it comes to this kind of stuff, they don't want to jump on the phone and either be put on hold if they're calling like one of the big chain national, brands. And, they don't want to get a call or make a call, get, it not get answered, then they don't really know what else to do. So they go to someone else. So having that messaging capability where they can send a message and you can respond right away, really enables you to connect with leads and customers much faster.
You
So
hit you hit it
with
right
the
on the
and I thank you. And I think that, that's something that not even just financial services industry businesses are dealing with, but everybody. And so with these challenges of online visibility, finding those quality leads, or even, trying to put yourself in front of the competition and adapting to this kind of digital first world,
Mhm.
where do you think, will these challenges continue to carry over into the new year? What do you think is gonna, you mentioned that I think you said in 5 years in 2027 that 80% of businesses are gonna be, or 80% of, is it banks or just gonna be
Well,
digital?
these are just stats, that I'm online always looking. I look at fintech stuff all the time, and these are just stats that I'm pulling from, just what's out there. But it was basically the entire business period. All of our entire businesses across multiple different countries. The world is moving all to digital, and it just makes sense. It makes sense for everybody's business, not just the finance industry. We're talking about the finance industry because they have a lot more challenges and a lot of red lines and a lot of red tape to try to get through these obstacles, that they might think are obstacles, but there are partners out there like us, or any other company that might be able to serve their needs. But that stat came from just, I believe it was a fintech site. So
Mhm.
it's just all businesses, not necessarily, the financial industry,
Wow.
but all.
Yeah. So do you think these challenges will carry over into the new year?
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, I mean, in an industry like the financial industry, insurance, we're talking about all financial industry. The innovation is crucial. It's a crucial part of staying relevant. So that answer is yes. And I will say that another recent statistic that if you want the link to this, I'll send it to you. But I'm going to read it to you. And it was very interesting to me. It was 90% of customers are willing to spend more for personalized experiences, but just 29% of financial institution agents say that they are effective at finding the information needed to meet those expectations. So they just need educated. They just need a way for them to understand, in my opinion. So consider the many ways that people interact right now. I mean, I was talking with you about this yesterday because I was opening checking accounts online. I mean, that's all I do now is my online banking. It's all online. We're sending money in third-party apps. We're using, applying for loans and credit cards and scheduling appointments with people online. So the experience is all going to how the consumer wants to do business. And one of the key things to remember, basically, is a large majority of the financial industries rely heavily on retention. So they need new business. But in my opinion, especially when I was running branches, my P&L reports were so important to me. That there's a lot that goes into those reports and making sure that your agencies or your institutions are profitable, being able to not have churn or having your clients just have a checking account. Like if we're talking about banks or credit unions, we really need to have that sticky client aspect and be able to have a way in the financial industry to be able to have like digital platforms and software to be able to make that possible. So yes, I do believe it's going to go much more into not just 2023, because it can't just happen overnight. This takes time. And so we need to really hop on it now, in my opinion, in the financial industry, because being proactive with technology trends and tactics are constantly changing. So if you really kind of put forth the effort now and know that this is happening, it's going to happen, and get ahead of it, then you can really, really make a change in your organization, stay at the forefront of your audience's mind, and then being able to quickly respond to changing customers in the market, dynamics. And with the digital innovations like they are, you'll be able to attain a competitive advantage in 2023 and moving forward.
Wow. Yeah. And like as you were saying, with technology, it's kind of common knowledge now that technology is moving the fastest, and it's advancing the fastest it's ever been in the history of humans.
Yes.
And so being able to keep up with that is not easy. It's really, really hard. And honestly, even getting to a point where you can actually be proactive instead of reactive is really challenging.
Exactly.
And so, and it only gets more difficult the bigger your business is, the more locations, the more employees, the more customers you have. Managing all of that, trying to, stay on top of it is really, really difficult. So, shameless plug, having a tool like Birdeye that allows you to do, to manage all of the data, all of the customer feedback, the messages, the inbound things, all of that stuff, being able to manage that in one place is really, really helpful. And it actually allows you to not have to spend so much time on the tedious stuff that isn't really helping your, like, in the sense of it's helping your business, but it's not making big impacts. But allowing, having a tool with Birdeye, we have we automate so many different things, like review requests, like being able to automate, asking for a review can save, across a year, if you're asking all of your, your customers for a review, it saves you a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it also adds a lot more consistency. But having that automated allows you to focus on other aspects of your business as well, and so that's something that I've noticed is a lot of people want to build their online reputation. They want to, show up on the first page of Google. They want to have all these 5-star reviews, and they want to do all these things, but it's really difficult to do that and also run the business at the same time. So having some sort of automation or, something that can help you manage that data a little bit easier can be a massive help. So
let me stop you there, because you really hit something that's important to me when it comes to the financial industry. And I just spoke with this on another credit union last week, and they loved it. And here's what it is don't worry about these AI. A lot of these institutions are worried about the AI. It has to be done because it's really the best way. The AI is going to, like you said, take away that manual aspect of this. But their argument is, I want it to be personable. Well, the software, shameless plug for Birdeye again, the software itself can help these institutions and agencies put their own words in these responses. So we're not taking away the intimacy or the relationship that that you're building as an institution. It's just helping you be sustainable and be able to have a program that is going to scale the business in a reasonable way that's going to not, eat into your revenue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a great example of that with the automation stuff and trying to take out some of those tedious tasks is with Google Business Messages. Whenever when people are asking those FAQs, the super
Oh,
frequently
yes.
asked questions,
Yeah.
being able to automate those responses, and you can even tailor it to have multiple different types of responses based on the different types of questions that you have, so it does sound more personable. And so, as I'm thinking about it now and thinking about the discussion I had yesterday with Trista. It just makes me more excited because we're going to dig into this, and she's got some numbers that are mind blowing.
That's awesome.
Like mind blowing when it comes to the differences between like the messaging and chat versus calling and the amount of money that you can, it's crazy. But we're going to talk about that next week. And so I just got a question come in from LinkedIn. Is it live? I think it has already been recorded. The webinar for next week will happen live. So just a heads up on that. So I'd say overcoming these challenges in 2023 is going to be a top priority for agents and firms and businesses of all kinds. Today's consumers do more online research than ever before when it comes to making specifically financial decisions. In fact, as you're doing, as we're all, as marketers, we're constantly researching and looking up new statistics. But I was just reading a study that found 90% of loan and mortgage consumers and 85% of check cashing consumers and 76% of tax return prep consumers start their journey with an online search. And basically that's 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, and 3 out of 4 people go first when it comes to financial decisions. Yeah. So if you're in this industry and you're not developing a strong online presence, or you're not working on innovating and being available with newer technologies, whether it's through messaging or all of these things, you could be missing out on a ton of opportunities. Especially if 9 out of 10 of your customers are going online first before you need to be there. So Amber, something I've noticed is that agencies and agents they're beefing up their paid advertising. I've heard this a lot. I've even listened to some calls where they're like, yeah, I've started paying for some Google ads, trying to see what's going on. And a lot of the time it's like we spent $500 this last month on ads and we got a few leads, but it really wasn't worth it. But sometimes spending some serious cash, and sometimes some of them are even spending way more than 500. They're dropping some money on it. So what are your thoughts on paid advertising?
Well, I mean, listen, paid ads are great, but relying solely on paid ads, that's a totally different thing, and I don't recommend that. So there are several reasons for that. Once you stop paying for ads, the leads stop coming in. And so one time I had a coworker tell me, he said, that's kind of like paying, for a rented space on the internet. And I loved how he, because we like to say it's real estate out on the internet. It's really kind of what it reminds me of is when a business is relying just on ads, they're not thinking of the full picture or how it all works. And really how it all works is foundation is always got to be first. It's just like building a house. And if you build a house without a strong foundation, or it's cracked, or anything's wrong with that, anything else you build upon that is not going to perform in the way you want it to, or it's going to break down. So it's great for temporary seasonal businesses that, might want to put ads out here. But they really do need to, in any industry, make sure that their foundation is strong and that local SEO, which is the foundation. If we're talking about, if we're looking at SEO, that's what I'm talking about. That organic search engine optimization is organic. And if you get leads that are coming in from any of these paid ads, or any leads that even if it's Angie's List, or any of these other lead companies that you can pay for, if it's coming in, or Google ads, and say the Google ads is working great. Most people do have a great, great experience with Google ads, but your foundation is broke, then the leads have nowhere to go. It'd be awful for somebody to go to your website, click, and then them have nowhere to go. So in my opinion, having strong organic presence first is key. And then adding your ads on top will be a more effective way to be able to make sure your leads don't bounce like right,
Mhm.
from your website, and making sure that, right after they click your ads. So I do feel that ads are super, super powerful, but you got to make sure that that organic piece, the local SEO and your listings and all of that, 40% of your total online presence is strong and powerful before anything else you do on top of that is done. So I suggest pairing the two.
Yeah. And I think that you hit the nail right on the head. I think a lot of people get it flipped where they try to build their foundation with paid ads
Mm-hmm.
and not the other way around where you have your foundation. Because that's something that Google looks at. They look at your organic presence when trying to rank your ads. Because
Yeah.
I think, pretty much any, somewhat large market like, a big city in Dallas or like Dallas or LA or anything like that, you're gonna have a lot of different businesses competing for the same keywords, even in the paid ad space. Like
That's right.
if there's a massage therapist, in Houston or Dallas or LA or New York, and they want to rank for, I want to show up on the top of the Google results when someone searches massage therapist New York.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's going to be a lot of people competing for that. And so what Google does is they look at your organic presence as well to see, okay, because Google's goal is to provide the best possible results or the most relevant results for that user's search.
Right.
So even if you have a great ad and if your organic presence isn't there to back it up, they won't rank you that high because they'll go to the one that's is like, well, this massage
Relevant.
therapist is
Yeah.
paying and they've got a huge presence and they've got a lot of reviews. Like we're going to prioritize them on the ad as opposed to this one who has 2 pages on their website, but there's nothing else there about their services or whatever. So having those two things supporting each other but built on the foundation of a strong organic online presence is
Mm-hmm.
crucial. And so, and the more effective that your ads are, especially with that organic presence, it actually helps you save money because your cost per click will go down,
Exactly.
as the better that your ads are.
Mm-hmm.
So from your perspective, what do you think agents and agencies should be prioritizing going into the new year?
Well, I mean, and I've said a lot about, how I feel the financial institutions really need to focus moving forward. But again, I'll just repeat this. In my opinion, we should be proactive, like we said earlier. The financial industry should be proactive in having strong technology partners, and having that strong technology partner, those trends and tactics that again are constantly changing, they will always, be in front of that. And it's important to stay more than just a few steps, in my opinion, ahead of the game, to make sure that your organization or your agency stays in front of the forefront of your audience's mind, like I said. So that is how I feel the financial institution is really going to attain that competitive advantage against, the other agencies or institutions that are falling behind. And so I'm hoping that this, like this webinar can really reach a lot of people, because it's so important. And I have a very strong place in my heart for this, because it was my home for 12 years, this industry. And there's just so many different hurdles that they've had to go through. And I just feel that now that the tech world is able to offer this, that moving forward in the new year, this really needs to be forefront and needs to be a part of their new world, the digital world.
Yeah, and what's really exciting about it is that when I look at this and I look at the financial services industry and kind of where they're positioned moving forward when it comes to technology and innovation, is there is a world of potential. I mean, there's so much more room, and there's so many other things that these businesses could be doing to really, really drive awesome experiences for their customers and inevitably help them grow their business. And so this is this is just making me super excited for Thursday's webinar, because we're going to be diving into all of this and more so into the how. And so she's going to be telling us about how, and this will be specific. This one will specifically be more around Google Business Messages and
Yeah,
how
which
you
is
can
so
use
great.
that tool
Yeah,
to
that's awesome.
connect. It's going to be really exciting because, like I said, the numbers that she has is insane. But we're going to be talking about that, and she's going to share some real world stories, some real case studies of businesses that have worked with Google to be able to capitalize, and how, the impact on their business from that, and she's also going to be talking about how some agencies are using it to its fullest extent. And even though this is going to be coming from a financial services and insurance kind of industry perspective, the insight, the tips, the impacts, the value, and everything that we're going to be talking about can apply to any local business, any business in any industry. And so Oh wow, we're already at 30 minutes. So it looks like we're actually about to run out of. We reached our
We had a
time.
good conversation, didn't we? I
Yeah,
love conversations about Google and finance industry.
I could have sworn that we were only about 10 minutes in. That's wild. So all right, so we're probably gonna need to wrap it up. But Amber, thank you so much for your time and your amazing insight. I'm really happy that you were able to join us. And I'm looking forward to talking to you again soon. I think this is just the first of many conversations we're going to be having. And also for everybody tuning in, thank you. And don't forget to register for next week's webinar
Yes,
where we are, with Trista. We're going to talk about how to generate new leads with Google Business Messages. It's going to be recorded. So even if you can't make it to the live presentation next Thursday, you can still watch it on demand. So go ahead and register, because once you're registered, you'll get that email with a link to the recording after we're done. So no harm in at least signing up just to see, to check it out on your own time. But to end it, thank you to everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next time. I'll see you on Thursday. And yeah, sounds great.
Thank you.
Have a great December. Bye.
Bye.